radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Wednesday, August 5th, 2020. 218 days into the new year. Only 148 days left. We are live from a bunker. A bunker that is somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. Yeah, that's right. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right. Tonight, very special guest, Caroline Cory. We're going to be discussing her new film, Superhuman. I want to remind everybody that last week, Caroline was supposed to be with us when the United States decided to have an internet down. Right before showtime, too. 20 minutes before showtime, everything crashed. But tonight, she is here. And later on tonight, we will have a super surprise special guest. A star from the film will be joining us. So get ready for that. Tomorrow night, right here, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Giorgio will be here for a conversation and your phone calls. It don't get no better than that. What a great way to close out the week. And then Saturday night, I'll be over at Coast to Coast AM, and those announcements will be made tomorrow. So I'll announce that tomorrow. But Saturday, I'm over at Coast. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be filming and editing The H Factor. Yeah. Can't wait for that. And if you haven't done it yet, head over to our Game Changer Network YouTube channel. It's right there. Go and subscribe. Click on notifications and get ready. We're getting ready to start premiering episodes. It's going to be great. Cannot wait for that. So subscribe over at Game Changer Network. You can follow me at JChurchRadio on Twitter. And, you know, I seem to say this every single night, whenever and wherever I'm broadcasting from. Start your social media journey with me at JChurchRadio, right there on Twitter. Start it right there. I really enjoy hanging out with all of you. Social media is great. It is. The good and the bad and the ugly. So you can start right there, and all of the links for our social media stuff and everything that we do is over at jimmychurchradio.com. The sandbox where all of the Fadernauts hang out all night during the show is hashtag F2B on Twitter. That's it. Just hit me up on Twitter, hashtag F2B. I'll see it. If you have a question for myself or a guest on the show tonight, it is Caroline Cory. Hashtag F2BQ is Fade to Black questions. You can also email throughout the show if you still use email, and that would be jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Lots of breaking news to get straight into. And this is about as big a news as I can bring you. Happy, happy, joy, joy. That's right. We are getting a new version of the Ren and Stimpy show. Oh, you haven't heard anything that cool in a long time, have you? Comedy Central announced today that it is reimagining the 1990s cult animated hit series. The original Ren and Stimpy centered on the exploits of a dog and cat duo and debuted on Nickelodeon back in 1991, along with two other animated series, Rugrats and Doug, which I love both those shows too as well. I watched Rugrats, I watched Doug, I did, but I had kids. I had to do it. But with its dark humor and themes, Ren and Stimpy, and I remember, I'm watching it, I'm just like, this is for adults. This isn't for kids. It's not a children's show. And Nickelodeon, I think, quickly found that out. But nonetheless, no date has been announced for the new show's debut, but you heard it here first, and I'll keep you on top of things. All right? Okay. Now, over to the explosion in Lebanon that happened in Beirut yesterday. The investigation into the devastating blast continues. Officials have pointed to a possible cause, a massive shipment of agricultural fertilizer that authorities say was stored in the port of Beirut without safety precautions for years, despite warnings by local officials. It went like this: a shipment of 2,750 metric tons of ammonium nitrate arrived in Beirut on a Russian-owned vessel back in 2013. The ship was destined for Mozambique, but stopped in Beirut due to financial difficulties. Once it arrived, the vessel never left Beirut's port, and the crew abandoned ship. The latest casualty numbers are at least 150 dead and over 5,000 injured. Crazy. So many comments, so many things that I want to say right now. We just got to let this investigation continue and to figure out who was responsible. Also announced today, once the Food and Drug Administration approves widespread distribution of coronavirus vaccines, the shots will cost anywhere from $4 up to $39 a dose. Contracts between the United States government and various drug makers indicated all of this when it was released earlier today. Currently, there are 6 vaccine candidates in phase 3 clinical trials out of more than 165 under investigation. Now, Pfizer and Moderna are hoping for emergency use to approval within weeks. The FDA said it needs to be sure that any potential vaccine will be at least 50% effective to gain approval. 50%. Meaning it would have to prevent infections in half of the people who receive it. Trials so far have involved only small groups of test subjects. The first 30,000-person trials began only last week. No official word yet if the vaccine will be mandatory in the United States. Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, Maureen McCormick. Maureen McCormick today is 64. Marsha. That's right. 64 years old. Dan, guitar god Rick Derringer today is 73. And Twisted Sisters Eddie Fingers Ojeda today is 65. That's crazy. Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, 73 years old. And he still is. I mean, one of the coolest guys ever, but 73. Wow. Our dead guys' birthdays today are Neil Armstrong, 1930 to 2012, died at the age of 82, first dude to set foot on the moon, and Adam Yauch. Adam, otherwise known as MCA, 1964 to 2012, died at the age of 47, rapper, bass player, and filmmaker who was a founding member of the Beastie Boys. Adam died of cancer on May 4th, 2012 at the age of 47. And at this point, I just have to say, I'm not sure who had more of an impact on my life, Adam or Neil. Right now, I'm going MCA. I'm going MCA. Seriously. Happy birthday, Adam. On this day in history, OTD, 1962. Marilyn Monroe is found dead in her home right here in Los Angeles, California. She was discovered lying nude on her bed, face down with a telephone in one hand. Empty bottles of pills were littered around the room, and Los Angeles police concluded that her death was caused by a self-administered overdose of sedative drugs and that the mode of death is probable suicide. On this day in 1962. Fate or fact? Now, I don't do sports anymore. I don't have time. But this is too cool. This was vetted, and I've got to just throw this out there. Andre Agassi had the flowing locks, intense, one of the greatest ever tennis players, ever, wrote in his autobiography that, and I'm quoting, "I hate tennis. I hate it with a dark and secret passion, and I always have," end quote. Andre Agassi. You can tell, he didn't smile. Oh, he was a cool guy. Cool dude, man. Play guitar. Cool guy. No doubt. He just didn't want to be there. You could tell. Who was he married to? He's married to another tennis player. Steffi Graf, I believe. Graf. Tonight, very special guest, Kelly Sullivan Walden. Oh, Kelly Sullivan Walden. Tonight, very special guest, Caroline Cory is here with her new film, Superhuman. Thinking about the show last night with Kelly Sullivan Walden and dreams. Thought about it all day today. And we were talking last night about how I fall asleep, that I crawl through the window of a house. Strange. And then I'm out. I did that last night. Did you? Did you try it? Well, I woke up this morning at about 7:30 and got a drink of water, did some stuff, and then I went back to bed. I did. I laid down, pictured the house, pictured the window, fell asleep. The next thing I know, Rita, church, it's almost 1 o'clock. Are you going to get out of bed? Couldn't believe it. I was in the same position too. I was out. That's it. I fell out. Tonight, Caroline Cory is here, her new film, Superhuman. At the top of the hour, we're going to have a very special, super surprise guest. A star from the film will be joining us. Thursday night, tomorrow night, Giorgio Tsoukalos will be here. It's Fader night. It's open lines. Giorgio's going to be here for a conversation, and he's going to take your phone calls. So that is tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black. And right now, I need to hit this River Moon Coffee Fade to Black blend, the one with my picture on it. So good. rivermooncoffee.com. Fade to Black blend. Promo code F2B blend. Have you been over to jimmychurchradio.com? You checked out all of the cool advertising we've got built now all the animations for all of our sponsors here on the show, head over to jimmychurchradio.com. Click, go and visit all of our sponsors. All right. Okay. It's like this. And I've never been more clear. My belief in the strange, the paranormal and supernatural, in extraterrestrial intelligence, in the science that proves all of this, has never been stronger than it is today. I know that at times I can seem like I'm being overly harsh on TTSA. And maybe I am. But that's just not the point. Honestly, there are 3 videos that show nothing. But if that's what you want to hang your hat on, go for it. Both with TTSA and this audience. Go for it. It's cool. I don't care. Like I stated earlier this week on Fade to Black in my most recent Telepath article, I don't know why TTSA and the Elizondo gang want to continue and push this disinformation, but they think that they have an angle. So yeah, go for it. The real research and push into the media should focus on us, the things that we have seen and continue to see. I could really care less about trying to expose what may be in those videos because it just isn't anything extraterrestrial. It just ain't there. What I want to know is, what did everyone see over Mount Adams and who was driving that giant beer can? That's what I want to know. What was the blue Zorro Z that me and hundreds of others saw in the sky that night? What was the green chrome ball? What flashed down into Van Nuys, California back in 2010? That's what I want to know. These are some of my personal sightings that I've experienced with other witnesses. And most of you have seen crazy stuff that you can't explain. But TTSA doesn't care about you or the community or what others have seen. They have said it. They have said that they don't care about what you think, only what they think. And this is what bothers me so much. I had a private conversation in person with someone from TTSA a couple of years ago. And during that conversation, this is what was said to me. Quote, "Jimmy, you've got it all wrong. Nobody cares about the UFO community. It doesn't matter what they think or what they've seen. The only thing that matters is how we are dealing with it. We know what you're doing. We know what we are doing. We don't need the support of the UFO community or you. You, speaking to me, you just don't understand. But we do. You'll have to wait and see, church. You have to trust us. You have to stop asking the wrong questions." End quote. And I stood there. Man, and I got to tell you, what started out as a friendly chat quickly turned dark. I bit my lip. I can just imagine what I looked like. At that time, I did everything I could from blowing up. But I kept my composure. I was cool. But unfortunately, I understood. Everything became crystal clear. And I have been cool as a cucumber ever since. Because at that point, that's when I started to make those very general statements. Quote, I won't put my full trust into anything or anyone from a secret government agency. That kind of trust is earned over time. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to TTSA and what their true colors are. We've got to give it a few years, end quote. I have said this over and over again, independently and with guests. I've said it to you during your phone calls. We have to wait. That's what we have to do. Well, here we are, almost 3 years later, and we are right where we were when things started. It's amazing to me. But I'm willing, just like everyone else, to wait things out for another year or two. Let's see. Let's see how things are going to shake out in 2021. But here's the reality of it. Here's the reality of everything. TTSA and their 3 videos, by the way, they say the videos are theirs. My videos, our videos, right? It's their words, not mine. They claim them. But they say that their 3 videos show something. The reality is their evidence and everything that they have brought forward are a very, very, very tiny sliver of the big picture. And you need to look at it that way. In the totality of the UFO question, where does TTSA and those 3 videos fit? What slice of the pie do they have? And it's just a line in the slice of the pie. And right now, that line is the benefit of the doubt because we don't even know if those 3 videos have anything to do with UFOs, of the off-the-world, extraterrestrial, interstellar, visiting us from another planet variety of UFO. We don't know that. The UFO community was doing just fine before TTSA. Everything was great. And we'll continue. We're going to continue the fight long after they're gone. The UFO community is big. The UFO community is strong. We have millions of witnesses and members, and we care about each other. We support one another. This is what we do. So, yeah, I care about the community, and you do too. When I spoke up to this representative from TTSA, I said, hey, I support the UFO community. I speak for the UFO community. I will always have the UFO community's backs. That's where I am. I care because I'm a member of that community, and I have seen things. They have seen things. We support each other. We know that something is going on. Church, you don't get it. Nobody cares about the UFO community. We don't care what the UFO community says. We don't care if the UFO community supports us. We're not out there to... No, we don't care. You've got it all wrong, man. You've got it all completely wrong. You've got to stop asking questions. You've got to stop doing this. You don't get it, church. You don't get it. We know things. We know what we're doing. We know how to handle this. It's like, no. No, I don't look at things that way. I don't. I seriously care about the community. And when you hear me say these things where I seem like I'm being negative, because I am defending the faith. I'm defending what we have saw, what we have experienced together, the joy, the fun, the screams, the hoopla, the community that we have enjoyed together. That's what I support. And you are out there standing with me shoulder to shoulder, experiencing and getting together as a community, because that's us. And when somebody tells me that doesn't matter, that we don't matter, I take offense to it. And when I look at what, as they say these things, What they are bringing forward has nothing to do with us. Nothing. It's not UFO. It's not extraterrestrial. It's not anything. I don't know what the agenda is. And I'm at the point where not only saying I don't know, I don't care. Now, is there some big picture science that's about to pop up? Is there something that is going to come forward out of TTSA and the Elizondo gang? Is there something on the horizon? I don't know. What choice do I have? What choice do you have other than sitting back and waiting it out? That's all we can do, and we're used to it. Meanwhile, the beat goes on. We will continue to do our thing, and I'm here to do that with you. I want to know what the heck is going on. I want to know what the government knows. I do. I want those answers, but I also want to know what I have seen. I want to know what it is, and that's where I am today. Never forget that. It will always be community first. Here on Fade to Black, what we have built, this family, this community, the expansion that we have done, and others that have joined in, how many times do we get to experience somebody calling into Fade to Black for the first time, somebody writing me an email for the first time? I saw something, I searched on the internet, you were the first thing that popped up, I'm calling in tonight to tell you about it. That is what community is. Think about that. Seriously. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Caroline Cory. We're going to be discussing her new film, Superhuman. It is an extraordinary film from beginning to end. The official release came out, I think, last week before, and the links for it and everything are up. I'll be right back with tonight's guest, Caroline Cory, and at the top of the hour, Super Seeker surprise guest, a star from the film, will be joining us. Get ready, Caroline Cory all night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on jimmychurchradio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Caroline Cory. We're discussing her new film, Superhuman. Tomorrow night, Giorgio Tsoukalos will be here. Little conversation and taking your phone calls. It's Fader Nights, open lines. It's a great week here on the show. But tonight, it's Caroline Cory. And the new film, which is an award-winning documentary, it provides tangible evidence for the powers of the human mind over matter. Through groundbreaking scientific experiments and real-life demonstrations, viewers will find themselves connecting the dots about the relationship between mind and matter and discover whether they live in a simulated matrix or if they can have control over their own physical reality. Caroline is a filmmaker. She's a futurist. She's an international speaker and the visionary author of best-selling books on consciousness and quantum healing. As a child and throughout her life, Cory has numerous otherworldly encounters which led her to become deeply connected to spirituality, the study of consciousness, and the mechanics of the universe. In 2010, she founded Omnium Media and has also written, directed, and produced short and feature animated films and completed several feature and TV pilot screenplays. In addition to writing and producing, she has appeared as a guest expert at major conferences and on television shows about supernatural phenomena, including History Channel's popular Ancient Aliens. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, the one and only Caroline Cory. Caroline, you made it.
I did. Thanks for having me, Jimmy. How are you?
You know, I am great. How are you?
I am awesome.
You know, we just have to tell everybody, we went through this thing last week, and right before the show, we're in the middle of sound check, everybody. Caroline and our super secret special surprise guest that'll be with us at the top of the hour. We're right in the middle of sound check, and things just started to fizzle. And we tried to fix things, Caroline and myself, thinking that it was us. But it turned out it was them. And the internet went down across the United States. And that was pretty nuts to happen right before the show. And what a disappointment. But thankfully, you were able to reschedule. And here we are tonight. So welcome back. And thank you for taking the time.
Thanks again. You see how powerful we are? We just break things down. The entire internet went down.
You know what? We may make jokes about that, but that's probably what happened. And the film is sensational. I've seen it now probably 5 or 6 times, and we've talked about it a lot, but now it's in release. How has that been going?
Amazing. We just opened a couple of weeks ago and the reviews have been awesome. I think people were hungry for something like this. We've been talking about the mind affecting matter, affecting the body. Meditation is good for you. Thinking positive is good for you. Lots of talk, and so I feel that this film is beyond the talk, is not just saying that the mind has a power and is measurable and has an effect on the body, but we actually show it, we demonstrate it, we do real on-camera experiments to demonstrate that. So I think it's going to be very well received, even moving forward.
Now, this is the thing for me, because you've been doing this for a very long time, and you've been a guest on this show so many times, and we've discussed your films and your projects in the past. But this is going into another area altogether, and when you do that, and you are able to not only perform experiments on camera, and that is a big roll of the dice, right? You need that to go the right way. You don't need that to go the wrong way, but you have to also write the film and get these experiments in play, and do it in such a way that it's attractive to others outside of our community. You managed to take this to a whole nother level. How did you approach this? And I'm talking about with star power, right? You've got people there that you're going to go, wow, I had no idea. Well, there's that element of it, but how did you consciously approach this so differently from everything that you've done in the past?
I wanted to bring it more to the mainstream, if I can call it that, meaning demystify that the fact that only certain people have certain powers, or you have to meditate for hours and hours and hours to have those kind of powers. I wanted to just bring it more down to earth, and yet at the same time bring some very solid evidence for this fact that the mind does affect matter, does affect our physical reality. And so, because of this, I thought, okay, well, we can't just be a select group of people, just the folks who have been training and doing this. So, I wanted to include random folks, just anybody that would volunteer, but also some recognizable names as well. Why not? We also found people, children, adults, different countries, different culture, different races. So, and all performing and demonstrating these phenomenal tasks, like doing telekinesis or seeing with the blindfolds on and things like that. So I think because I wanted to include a whole range of people and subjects, I think that's what makes this film a whole different angle from what I've done before.
Well, there's another aspect to this, and I'm sure that you've done interviews and you're out there promoting the film. But one of the things that I enjoy is the cinematography, the editing, the professionalism of taking things big. Make a show of it, make it entertaining. And that's where this film separates itself from just about anything else. It's a very entertaining film, and you've managed to bring the science forward where the viewer doesn't have to have a PhD, right? They understand what's happening here. Pretty extraordinary achievement, Caroline.
Well, thank you. And that's exactly it. I like to do things well. I want them to be beautiful and well cut, beautiful music, because it's part of the experience. I find those kinds of film usually kind of dry, or just people just talking, which gets a little bit boring after a while. So, like you're saying, I wanted to make it visually very stimulating, very well shot, very well edited with the music, because it carries the story, definitely. So to me, that was very, very important, in addition to, like you're saying, the science. So yeah, I think that combination works really well.
And was that the thing? I guess what I'm trying to say here, also, is that a conscious? I just said it. Is that a conscious approach from you to make it big, to make it come to life? The visual stuff only supports the experiments that are happening on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I want people to enjoy it, not just be just be talking to them like, hey, this is what we've discovered, this is what it is. It gets boring. And so, and also, I don't know if you and I had this conversation, but I believe in, vibration and energy being at the base of everything. And so when for example, I used to drive my editor crazy because I'd be like, the images would be great and I'd find another perfect one, like better one. I'd be like, no, 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 we got to go back and cut this one and take out a few frames and do this and do that. Because it's not just the images and the colors and the tones in the music, it's the rhythm, it's pattern, it's harmonics, and it's vibration. So even though we are demonstrating experiments and talking about these things, behind all of this, or part of all of this, is the other components, the music and the imagery that also carry that message of beauty, of elegance, of oneness, of connection. Did you have that experience? I wonder, as you were watching, did that make sense?
I'm hoping for everything that goes down in this film. And I'm sure that it's the same impact with anybody else that's watching it, is that I'm hoping one day to do all of these things. And watching it play out, I don't know, but there is an approach that you take, Caroline, to the film, which is you're bringing in a rookie, right? You're bringing in somebody and then all of a sudden, something extraordinary happens. And you're watching this on film, and it says to me that, okay, that means I don't have to be Ingo Swann, right? I don't have to be Uri Geller. I don't have to have these special abilities that nobody else has. These are things that I can do. And when you watch the film and you watch this play out, absolutely I had those thoughts, Caroline. I did. I was going in my kitchen looking at the coffee cup. Okay, you're going to move. And yeah, absolutely you think these things. Because I think that we all know fundamentally everything's connected, right? And whether it's physics and it's entanglement or there's some other communication going on between particles and atoms and then amplified and things can happen and occur or can be seen, that it's a scientific phenomenon that's going here. It appears to be superhuman, but everything is connected in the universe, just like everything is connected in this film from beginning to end, right?
Yeah, agreed. And your reaction is exactly what I was hoping for. Because even when we were filming, Jimmy, it was incredible. So we would invite a rookie, like you said, someone who's never done anything before. And we would say, okay, in 2 hours, we're going to teach you how to move an object, do telekinesis. They've never done anything like this. Now, don't forget, we are filming. So we have cameras, we have equipment with all kinds of electromagnetic. You have people watching, people tracking down the time, what's happening on the schedule. You have chaos. I mean, just like a lot of the setting itself is not so conducive to this sort of experimentation, this sort of experiments. Like you can't really focus. And so if you've never done anything before and you come on set and you're surrounded by all these cameras and all this equipment and you have to learn how to move an object and you do it and you nail it, the crew is like crazy. It's like, what just happened here? Did we just witness this person before our eyes be able to do something like that? And so the reaction is always the same. Oh my God, I want to try it next. I want to do this. If she did, then I can do it.
Now, let me ask you a question. I did have, okay, I'm just going to go direct. Are you reading books with a blindfold today?
Myself?
Yes.
Yeah, I've tried it before and I do a little bit, to be honest with you. So the blindfolds is something that I've added more recently to what I've been doing for the past 20 years. And so, but we just taught a class online to kids. And after 2 classes, they're able to read and do puzzles and do all kinds of stuff. And so we are teaching and doing these sort of things. And I think when people ask me, like, do you have to keep practicing? And absolutely, that's the problem with adults, especially even with kids. When you learn this technique, you have to keep doing it. You have to keep practicing it. And because I'm so busy, I'm doing all sorts of stuff, especially now with the film. So that's why sometimes I don't practice as much as I can.
But are you making progress? This is why I'm asking. A few months ago, a friend of mine came down. We were at a conference and came in, I think from Canada. I could have that wrong. And brought me the blindfolds, right? The ones, right? And handed them to me and said, okay, these are for you. You've been talking about this. And what a cool gift, right? So I was going to bring them into the studio. I left them at home. I was going to show them on camera tonight, but I forgot them today. But I was given, and he said, okay, listen, you've got to learn to do it. I said, I think you got to be a kid. This seems to be a kid thing. I haven't seen adults doing it, which is why I asked you, Caroline, are you doing it? Seems, am I wrong in saying that kids are able to, young children are able to develop this ability at a young age more than adults at an older age, or does it make a difference how old you are?
No, 100%. Kids are so easy. I mean, like I said, after 2 sessions, they're able to read, they're able to do puzzles and do all kinds of stuff. In fact, I'm going to upload those videos on the website for people to see. And this, we taught them online, not even in person, because normally these classes you do in person. And so, because when you tell a kid, okay, put the blindfolds on, what color do I have in my hand? They just do it. They don't think about, like, wait, how am I supposed to read? They don't think about it. But with an adult, it takes 3 times the amount of time and the concentration, because you have to get rid of all the blocks that come up for you. Like, wait, how am I going to do this? Only kids can do that. There's all these belief systems that you have to let go of and relax. So that's why with adults, it works. In fact, in the film, we show all kinds of adults. You saw that. They from Russia, from Romania, from Utah, incredible groups in Utah, and these are adults. And so, but definitely what you just said, it takes longer for an adult to kind of reprogram and let go, and then something clicks. It's very interesting. It's almost like you just allow it to be, and it clicks and it starts to happen.
I mean, how do we try and explain what is actually happening here? And I'm referring to the blindfolds and being able to read pages from a book at random. Okay, for anybody's belief system, that's where everybody's going to pretty much check out and say that that's impossible, even if they see it happening. So how do we choose to explain the phenomena?
Yeah, and honestly, I have to say this. People think that because I made the movie that I believed every single thing. I had the same reaction. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, I need to see how this is happening and how it is possible for it to happen, because that's what the movie is about. It's not about just showing all kinds of tricks. And now I have to say also, I've seen some people who are cheating. I can't speak for their methodology or what they were doing, but I can speak for the folks that I have seen myself, that I have worked with myself, and the techniques that I've worked with myself. And I could tell you that this is 100% real, that you can basically retrain your brain to think that there's light coming in through the mask. And then you kind of continue to visualize this light. And it gets so much as if it's filling the mask. You kind of change your belief system to that point. You become so convinced that there is light in the mask that you end up seeing, because as you know, vision is based on light. If there's no light, you can't see. But if there is light, then you can see the environment. And so it's just a lot of training to basically reprogram your belief systems. And so now other people do it differently, I have to say, because in the film, we show different groups. They all end up reading and doing all kinds of things blindfolded, but the technique is different. So some techniques are based on vibration, meaning they train so sensitive that you can literally feel the environment with your hands, with your arms, to the point where you know exactly what the environment is. I mean, that's crazy, to be able to see just through the vibration. Another technique is more about the visualization, like I said. Another technique is yet you come out of body. And if you're out of body, then you can see everything. So different techniques, but all with the same result.
It's one thing to read words on a page in a book. That's pretty cool. It's a whole nother thing to wear the mask, jump in a car, drive to a supermarket, park, and go in and do some shopping.
Right.
Right?
It's crazy. And also, people have to realize that even if there's a little bit of light, they can try it for themselves. Even if there's a little bit of light coming through on the side of the mask, it doesn't mean that you can, like you just said, get in a car and drive and play ping pong. You saw that, and ride a bike.
Right.
So even when people say, oh, there's a little bit of light coming on the side, it doesn't mean anything. Trust me. You still can't see anything in front of you, and it's crazy.
So, and in some respects, the title of the film, Superhuman, is not necessarily the case, right? You don't have to be superhuman. You just have to be human, right?
Yeah.
We have it all inside of us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I was looking for the title of the film, it just came to me, Superhuman. I had taught a class.
The title's great. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is that we have these abilities all around us. We have it inside of ourselves, and we just have to be aware of it and practice.
Exactly. And that's exactly the purpose of the film, is to just begin to trust and kind of see so many people from so many parts of the world that are doing all these things so easily. So why not start now? Like, why not just do it? Don't forget, your mind is free. Your consciousness is free.
Right.
So next time, like the experiment with the pH of water in water. So, we can start believing next time you drink a glass of water, wait, can I change the alkaline, the acidity in the water just by focusing on it? Yes, it's possible. You just have never done it before, but just try. Put the mask on, just try. And so that's what I'm hoping that people will take away from the film, that they have those abilities. Everybody has these abilities, and all we have to do is just try.
Is it easier for you? We're going to be up against a break in about 4 minutes. Is it easier for you to convey this information or show the film outside of the United States? Is it tougher here to get the message out?
I haven't made that distinction quite yet. I feel like I have an audience in the US and overseas, pretty much everywhere. We're attracting a lot of people from the Netherlands for some reason. They feel very, very awake, those people. The Netherlands, the French-speaking countries as well, Russia. We attract foreigners, also South America, I feel. But no, I don't know, Jimmy. I think it's all the same. There's those who believe it and those who don't want to believe it, no matter what you do. There's people who just come in not wanting to believe, and you could be demonstrating, you could be levitating in front of them, and they'll think that it's a trick, or something. So
yeah, I've always been fascinated with that because, science fiction and movies and Hollywood and books and comic books. Here in the United States, we're okay with believing that E.T. only speaks telepathically, or that
Right.
ET can float through walls, or ET can travel through wormholes or figure out parallel worlds. ET can do all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay. But for us here, it's science fiction, and we're never going to get to that point. It's kind of a is it hypocritical to look at things like that, to be okay to dream and to have thought like that and look to the future, but then in our own world be in denial? It's strange, isn't it?
I think it's part of the mind programming. We're so brainwashed that we need something outside ourselves to be strong, to be powerful. Like, the cartoons, you need a tool to drink spinach to become strong. All these kind of things, we don't realize it, but these are all subtle programming tools, to always make us feel that we need something else outside of us to gain those powers.
And if you look, you go up to somebody, open mind, cool, whatever, and you go, so, in the new movie that just came out, E.T. is speaking telepathically. Pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, pretty cool. Can we speak telepathically? No, of course not. It's just like, wait a minute. You appreciate and you know what I mean? That's okay. But no, I don't believe in it. Oh, but you believe when E.T. does it right, on the screen, you're okay with that. But if somebody's standing next to you right now and could communicate with you telepathically, you're not going to believe that. And that's where we are today. And that's why this film needs to get seen.
I agree, totally. I think everybody should see that film. I mean, and like you said, it's entertaining. And if only people will just walk away wanting to just try, I'll be very, very happy.
Well, okay. This is the deal, everybody. There were a couple of moments for me in this film where I sat back and went, oh, come on. Seriously. And I watched the parts over and over again, called up Caroline and said, oh, okay, we got to talk about this one part in the film here. I need to know what's going on. And we discussed it. I was so blown away to what I was seeing on the screen. And when we come back after the break, we are going to bring on the person that freaked me out, that gave me confidence that I could do this. And I am really excited about that. So let's do this. Caroline, stay right there. This is Fade to Black. We are talking about Caroline Cory's new film, Superhuman. When we come back, it's time for our new super secret surprise guest. Caroline, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We'll be right back. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We are also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Caroline Cory is here. We're discussing her new film, Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible. Right now, we're bringing on our super secret surprise guest, Rachel Brook Smith. She has appeared in Nice Guys, Iron Man 2, Entourage, and another 40 film and TV credits, with 3 projects that have just completed in 2020, and that is an achievement of itself this year, and is currently filming and starring in The Legend of the White Dragon. I would like to welcome, for the first time to Fade to Black, Rachel Brook Smith. Rachel, good evening. How are you?
Oh, so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Say hi to Caroline.
Hey, Caroline.
Hey, Rachel. How are you, love?
Oh, so again, just so happy to be here with you guys. Excited for a fun conversation.
Yeah, you freaked me out in the film, and and you, I think you freaked yourself out, and we're going to discuss that in just a second. But I want to talk about a couple of technical things first. You know, let's get some logistics out of the way. Up to the filming of Superhuman, Had you had any experience at all like this with the paranormal and supernatural?
Not like this. I had a crash course in telekinesis and remote viewing in the film, and I had never done telekinesis or remote viewing before. I've been studying everything you could find about mindset and consciousness and the capabilities that we might have that we might not know that we had, but nothing like I did in the film. So I blew my own mind.
Well, and you also blew your cover, right? It's like you're out of the closet now. Mm-hmm. And here in Hollywood, it's a very small community. People outside of our community, they can have the biggest picture of but everybody here knows everybody, right? That's it. Mm-hmm. What do you do with your friends and people that you know inside of the industry when discussing this or the film? Is it something that you don't care about anymore and it's just out in the open?
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to bring this stuff to everybody, because how incredible would it be if we could all really realize that we are so much more capable than we think, or that we've even been told, that maybe there's a narrative that's been being told to all of us that is limiting us. And what if all we had to do was really start questioning that narrative and what was truly possible to really start to see a huge shift in both our own lives and the lives of people we love around us.
Well, okay, so let's approach it like this for a second, and then we're going to get to the film.
Yes.
You're sitting in a restaurant on Melrose. Mm-hmm. Spielberg walks by. He stops, and he says, "Rachel, I saw you in a Superhuman, Invisible Made Visible. Come clean right now." Did that really happen? What's your response?
Like, yes, 100%. There was no movie magic. At least, the only things I can speak about were the ones where I was actually there. But there was no movie magic done when I was there. Like, absolutely. And because of that, obviously, I know Caroline, and I know that that's just not something she does. And I mean, I told her, I was like, Caroline, if I wasn't a part of filming this, I don't know if I could believe it. Like, it seemed so crazy to me. And I know people can think whatever they want to think. They can be like, oh, that's just movie magic. That was all just kind of made up. But I mean, I speak very authentically, very openly, very honestly on all of my social media channels. You can see where my heart is. It's just, if it wasn't, I told Caroline too. And even on the film, when I was doing remote viewing, I was like, at first, I really thought I was going to mess up. I was like, I'm sorry, Caroline, if I mess up your movie, because I'm just not going to not speak truth or not something that actually happened. And one of the biggest things that I do know is in the beginning, when we were first doing different experiments in the practice tests, I was trying so hard that I think I was really getting in my own way. And the only reason I know I was able to do really pretty incredible things was I stopped trying so hard. I stopped trying to be perfect. I stopped trying to do it right. I just really let go and was like, whatever happens, happens. And if this doesn't work, I'm totally cool with it, because I just want to know what is actually possible.
Now, we're going to get to the Starbucks cup in a minute, because that right there, yeah, Caroline's laughing. Her and I have talked about this enough. But that was crazy town. But let's back up for a second. Take me to the moment, and I really want you to be honest with me, okay? Mm-hmm. You're sitting on the couch, you've got your pad of paper, you've got your pen, and you are asked to just write down in the moment what is going on inside of your head. Right? That's all it is. That is.
Yeah.
That's it. Was it truly that simple?
It honestly was. And you'll even say in the practice experiments we were doing, like I said, I was trying to make sense of things and I was trying to be right. I was trying to do a good job. And I think it made the practice experiments not near as successful as the actual experiment. So much so that when Caroline and the crew went off somewhere else and I was supposed to try and see if I could figure out where they were, just me sitting in a room with my pen and paper, I asked the crew, I was like, can I just have my space for a while? Like, I just need to get into a different place. And I just went into, I've been practicing meditation for years and years now. And I could feel my mind, beforehand, I could just feel it just spinning too fast and trying to make sense of everything. And I knew that I had to get to a place where I slowed it down, and it wasn't about trying to do a good job or trying to perform. It was literally about trusting that first instinct and just writing it down and not caring what it felt like or sounded like, because for all I knew, they could have been at a McDonald's. They could have been on the top of a mountain. They could have been anywhere. And I felt all these fears come up, like, oh my gosh, what if I get it wrong? What if I just totally mess up her film? And then I was like, wait, I just need my own space for a while. I need to just like do a meditation and so I asked the crew, like when they were leaving and before before I started, I was like, I just need some time. And I just sat there and got into a really meditative state. And when I did, it changed everything, because I was able to slow down my mind and be able to really I made a personal commitment to myself that the first thing that I felt, I would write down, no matter how crazy it sounded. And that was my only intention, because I knew that if I had any other intention, it would get in the way of things. And, I had this direct thing, like as soon as I wrote my name and the location down on the paper, it was a very strong instinct, just these black bars, like that was the first thing that I felt. And, interestingly enough, like you'll see in the film, that was a thing that Caroline was actually holding on to. And, and like he said, the things that Caroline interacted with were things that I, might be able to tap into more. And that was the first thing that I felt so strong, and honestly, like doing this was scary, because there's so much, you feel this pressure and you want to do a good job. And it was completely letting that go and just writing the first thing down that my like instincts told me to, this intuition. It was just like, write it down. And then I felt so clearly these things that everything else I wrote down, the decorative lights and the red brick buildings and, music and laughter and, I had this hot drink. And initially, he had told me in the film, your mind's going to try to associate things. So if you think hot drink, your mind might associate it with, Pete's Coffee or Starbucks or whatever whatever. Or if you see a red ball, you're going to think, beach ball or a fire truck, but don't let your mind do that. And so when we were filming, I was like, I'm thinking hot drink, so I'm writing hot drink, but I'm getting a really strong feeling of Starbucks. So I'm just going to write it down. And he's like, yeah, just write it to the left of the paper and get it out of your mind so it doesn't block you. And then just keep going. And
well,
you'll see in the film.
Let me jump in for a second.
Yeah.
What Caroline chose to do, very clever, by the way, is what was who was the remote viewing instructor, Caroline?
Paul Smith.
Yeah, Paul Smith. Okay, so Paul, this is all happening in real time, and they go to split screen in the movie, which is why you have to go watch the movie. It's incredible to see because this goes down in real time. One side of the screen is Caroline doing her walk at some location. Nobody knows where Caroline is. Smith doesn't know. You don't know. But now it's in split screen. And you are writing these words down, or whatever they may be, and you're watching it play out in real time. There are moments of being totally incredible, Caroline, and it's like it's beyond belief. But for you, Rachel, as you're writing the words down, they don't seem. How do I want to say this? They're so random. Your words are random. You're watching Caroline do the walk, and you see the connection. What you're writing down doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, it didn't. That's why, honestly, a part of me, after we were done, especially because there was a very certain time, and Caroline, talks about what she did. I kept getting all these very clear things to write down. Didn't correlate at all. And so I was like, I don't know what I just did. But at one point I told Paul, I was getting a bunch of stuff and all of a sudden I'm just not getting anything. Is that normal? Like, is that supposed to happen? And he was like, if it stops, it stops. Like, you're done. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what I just did. And I remember getting in the car on the way there and just being like, oh my gosh, what I think I just failed. I really didn't. I didn't know. I just was trusting the first thought that I had, the very first thought, if you want to call it intuition or instincts or guidance, whatever you want to call it. It was the very first, without my mind getting in the way or trying to second guess myself, which I think I do so much in life. So this was a really beautiful practice of just trusting.
Now, the other part of this, we are talking, of course, about remote viewing, and that it is what it is, remote viewing. And you write this down. Now, when you went on to location, were you now viewing what you were feeling remotely? Did you look around and was everything familiar? And at that point, did everything achieve clarity and make sense?
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, from the moment when we were pulling up in the car and we pulled up, and I had never been in St. George, Utah. Like, I had no idea what it looked like there, buildings, architecture, anything. And it wasn't holiday season. And so when we pulled up on the street, I'm sitting there in my head going like, what did I just do? Like, none of this is making sense. And then we pull up, and the building we pull up to is exactly what I saw and felt. Because I said it's more of like this felt experience.
Right.
It's difficult to even explain because I don't think we're not used to sensing things like that. We're not taught to do that, right? It makes sense that this would feel a little weird because, we're taught to see things and to hear things and to, we're not, I really believe we're just not taught to use all the senses that we might have. We maybe been told we only have 5 senses, but maybe we have a lot more, like, who knows? And so, yeah, I mean, when I got there and I saw the black bars and the decorative lights and the carousel and everything I had described, it was like, yes, this all makes sense now. And this is exactly what I was feeling and seeing. And to the point that all of my reactions are real time, real responses. They are, it was no acting whatsoever.
Now, for everybody, and myself included, that watches the film, and for yourself, you brought it up a few times now, are the black bars. And when you draw them in the film, which is in real time when you're still on the couch, you had a very specific visual that came to you that you drew. Now, when you went on location and you looked at those bars, what kind of holy crap moment did you have?
Exactly that, holy crap.
Right.
Like, especially because, like I said, Paul had said, if she's interacting with something, you might sense it a lot more. And Caroline was holding on to those black bars. And, even just seeing the red brick buildings for me, because I also got a very clear, red brick buildings that are, not flat. They have pointed and unleveled and the carousel with the red I kept seeing this red circular thing and music and kids and laughter. And, in the moment, it doesn't really make any sense to me. But when we get there, it's like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what this is it.
And there was one more thing, and then I want to move on as quick as we can before we get to the bottom of the hour. You mentioned in the, as you were writing the words down, the feel. I'm talking about the black bars. You said some very specific things there. But then when you went out and saw the black bar, ended up touching them, was it the same thing that was in your mind when you wrote and drew the picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, and I even kind of felt and saw hands, black bars that you could just put your hands around.
Yes.
And that's, what makes so much sense to me now after the fact was that I was seeing and feeling those bars that are able, there's so many different kinds of black bars out there. And the ones I drew on the page were exactly matched what the ones were. And they were the ones that Caroline's hands were holding on to. And so, yeah.
Now, I wanted to, and I'm not, this is not a spoiler alert, everybody. You have to see the film, certainly to understand what I'm about to ask. But there is a carousel. Now, the carousel, the laughter and that part of things, all of that makes sense, certainly after you saw it. But, Rachel, take me back to that moment on the couch. Did you see the carousel and chose not to write anything about it? Was there something more specific there, but you didn't do it, and maybe you should have listened to your mind a bit more? Was there something more specific that you could have done, but you didn't?
You know, in all honesty, I didn't get that clear of an image of a carousel. I really just saw this. I saw the cover of it. You know, I saw the red circular cover of it, and then the feelings of what a carousel would be, of laughter and music and kids playing. But I really didn't get a clear intuition, like a clear thing to write down carousel at all. No.
Now, what do we do today, as you understand more about remote viewing and you hear others talk about it? What's your reaction to it now? Did you have maybe a skeptical mindset going in where now it's not that kind of party?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a skill, and I think it's something that just we haven't been taught that we are able to do. And I think it's just like any other skill. The more you practice and learn to trust your intuition, pretty incredible things can happen. And I've met so many people in my life that have different, gifts that maybe at some point I was like, oh my gosh, I think these people are crazy. But now, the more I learn about consciousness and the more I personally experience these experiences, I am just, so much more open-minded. And I think from several years ago, I went through an experience in my own family that just really taught me to question everything, because something happened that I never thought would happen. And like I said in the movie, I just think, it's a choice we all have. We can choose to live not questioning things and just taking things for what they are. But I believe, there's also another choice to really question everything, everything we've been told about who we are and what we are and what we're capable of and why things are the way they are. I really believe like the quality of our life is based on the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. And so many times answers might be right in front of our faces. We're just not asking the right questions. And so I think questions and curiosity allow so much more of a full life and so much more exploration and fun, honestly.
Have you been practicing since the movie?
So I've been practicing in different ways, not necessarily in the remote viewing that I learned, but more in trusting my intuition and trusting that if I have things that I really just go with them and not to second guess myself. And it's been a beautiful gift in my life. It's led to so many incredible relationships, experiences, job opportunities. And some might call that just being courageous, but I think it's, again, asking powerful questions, listening to those answers that you both kind of feel and hear. It's like a really, an experience that I feel like we don't talk about a lot, but I feel like a lot of people have felt those feelings where it's like this feeling at the same time as kind of hearing something and just trusting it. And I think the more we learn to trust that, it's like a muscle, like any other muscle. The more I work a bicep muscle, the stronger it's going to get. The more I learn to trust my intuition, maybe that's the same thing.
What is your friend's reaction been? In that, how do they feel knowing that you can look in their apartment? You know what I'm saying too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, I think I have a lot of friends who are really into consciousness and all this stuff. So they really love it. And they're like, oh, this so confirms all of my experiences that I've had that are kind of crazy. And, but I also I would never do that too. As you know, in the film, I didn't get clear. There was, at least for me, I this is my first experience doing this. And there was no clear images of things. It was more signs of things, it was more feelings of things. It was more, so I think it would be in being able to use it for good, if you have a sense that something might be off or someone might be in trouble or you might be able to help somebody in some way. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful gift that we have. Obviously, I would just hope that if people are learning this, that they use it for good.
Well, yeah, but there's also
There's also the other side.
Yeah, the other side is
Spying on your boyfriend.
Right, or your girlfriend's supposed to come over the night before, and you call her up. Why'd you blow me out last night? Well, my mom was sick. She was in the hospital. Are you sure you weren't shopping for shoes? Right? I mean,
totally.
It's got to be on the back of everybody's mind now.
I think it's a great question. I'm sure Caroline's much more of a master of this than I am. So I'm curious to know what Caroline would say in that question.
I use it to spy on my boyfriend at the time, all the time. No, that's not true. That's not true. It's so funny because you don't really think about that. It's like, even though you can do these types of things, you just don't, I feel like, in your daily life. But for example, just to bring it back to something very useful, is I used to use it to help the police at the time, a long time ago, to locate kids that were kidnapped. And so these types of things it's very, very helpful. So
that's incredible.
Well, because when SRI, Carolyn, you know all about this. I'm not sure if Rachel does, but SRI, the Stanford Research Institute, which was working with the CIA in the early 70s, probably still is, and we just don't know about it. But one of the things that they were starting to do and realize is that they could go into an office, say inside of the Kremlin or the KGB building in Moscow, go into an office and read paperwork on a desk.
Yes.
Right? Now that's getting into some very serious privacy questions there, because that's the KGB building, but you could also do it in any room, anywhere. And that's where we've got to almost have the remote viewing police or rules or laws.
Yeah, but imagine also being able to turn off someone's computer at a distance.
That's right.
Okay.
All of this comes into play. All of it does. Mm-hmm. And now, okay, so this is the other part of this. When, Rachel, once you know that you have these abilities and you're driving around in your car, do you see the world differently today than you did before?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I continue to see the world differently on a regular basis. I mean, for instance, I was just at a workshop the last 4 days, very much on similar principles. And I think my mind is constantly opened up. And I would encourage everybody to do that. I've just, the never stop learning and growing and questioning things. And, and it's just, imagine if, for people that have seen the film, or, I hope that they do see it in the film, there are kids that are, in this incredible school that are teaching incredible things to these children. I want to send my kids to that kind of school where they can learn how to trust their instincts, their intuition, and to, these kids are reading blindfold and doing things that you're just like, what? Because I wasn't a part of that experiment. So when I saw the film, I was like, Caroline, is this real?
I know. I did the same thing. It makes you wonder if Harry Potter isn't a documentary.
Right.
Yeah, we need to take a break right here. Our guest tonight, Caroline Cory. We were just joined by Rachel Brook Smith. We will continue this conversation after the break. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Come join us for the Starworks UFOs and Artificial Intelligence Conference, November 6th through the 8th at the Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. A full weekend of events with Grant Cameron, James Fox, Alan Stivelman, Sid Goldberg, Jaime Maussan, Lynn Katai, Paul Hynek, and another dozen great speakers and presenters. Special Fade to Black Sky Watches with Hoffman's Optics on Thursday and Friday nights, movie premieres, a cocktail party, a dinner gala. Get your discount ticket packages today at StarWorksUSA.com. I'll be there along with the entire Fade to Black crew. Start planning your weekend now for the Starworks UFOs and Artificial Intelligence Conference, November 6th through the 8th at the Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. Just visit StarWorksUSA.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
Permanent industrial glue impossible to remove? Not anymore, because Handyman Formula by D-Bond is a patented chemical adhesive remover. It's used in the building and home maintenance industry, but now it's available for your home use, for your DIY projects. Unglue stickers, silicone rubber, labels, price tags, flex tape, weather stripping, carpet glue, wood glue, liquid nails, even 3M 5200. And it dissolves graffiti. Yeah, graffiti. Handyman Formula by D-Bond works, and it's safe to use on most surfaces. No need to call a professional. Don't get out the pliers and blowtorch. Just apply a little Handyman Formula by D-Bond and wait 90 seconds, then quickly and easily pull the items apart. Get unstuck. Visit DBondHandymanFormula.com. That's DBond.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
Including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Caroline Cory is here. We are discussing her new film, Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible. We are joined right now with one of the stars from the film, Rachel Brook Smith. And now let's just continue the conversation. We didn't even get to the Starbucks, but let's let everybody go and enjoy that Starbucks moment all by themselves. And, we just lost Caroline. We just lost Rachel.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh my
Here
God.
we
again.
go. Here we go. Okay, no, she's back with us.
Okay, good.
Rachel, what happened? Did you bump a cable?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. After last week, we don't need any of this now, do we? So, anyway, what I was just saying, Starbucks has gotten enough plugs tonight on the show. Everybody just go and watch the film and enjoy the Starbucks moment for yourself. I want to move on, actually. Now, when we get to some of these questions are actually going to be the same when we're talking about remote viewing. Telekinesis. Rachel, did you know what it was? And did you have any experience with it before the film?
I knew what it was, but I had no experience with it before the film.
Were you like the rest of us, where you kind of, when it comes to telekinesis, unless you are of the extreme open mind, we tend to roll our eyes a little bit because this is remote viewing. I think we can all relate to and understand. But telekinesis, that's a whole nother ball of wax, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, listen, I come from a family of like scientists and doctors. So, my dad's a neurosurgeon and my brother's a neuroscientist. And so I come from a world where all this stuff is, or even I would say used to be. I think they're a lot more open-minded now, but they would have been like, okay, but she's gone crazy, But again, like, everything that happened in the telekinesis experience, like, happened. And I was just because I think you're right. I think that this experiment was even more incredible because it's like right in front of your eyes and it's something is happening that it feels like it is just not supposed to be happening, but it is. And, I know that there will probably be a lot of people that really feel like we did some movie magic too, or there was some sort of, effect going on, but there just wasn't. And it is incredible. It is a little hard to believe, but it happened.
Now, let's do a little bit of setup here. This is certainly mind over matter for real, this part of the film. Did you know going in this was going to be a telekinesis experiment? No, actually, let me throw that over to Caroline. Caroline, what did you leak to Rachel about this part of the film?
Yeah, I had to explain to her what we were going to do, for sure, and to make sure that she wasn't going to freak out, And I asked her if she had ever done anything like this before, and she said no. And I said, look, we just have to let go and trust, and whatever happens, happens. And in fact, I invited another person to kind of do the training on that day because I was going to do another type of telekinesis, as you know, long distance and Faraday cage and stuff like that. But that particular scene, I invited somebody else, actually, Sean McNamara, to lead the conversation with Rachel. And he too was very nervous because he said, wait, I mean, there's all these cameras, there's all this pressure to make sure we do it right on camera. I mean, yes, of course, we can edit and we can cut and we can redo the scene, and that's true. But still, there is no guarantee that this was going to work. So he was nervous, and he was nervous that Rachel, who had never done it before, was also nervous.
Right.
So it was like this whole, So actually what happened is we literally had to take a moment. Do you remember that, Rach? I told everybody, let's just take a moment, let's breathe, let's relax. And in fact, I think I kicked out of the room a couple of the PAs because I felt that their energy was too distracting. And I felt like they were projecting too much concern, like too much need, like too much pressure on us. And we kicked them out of the room and we just relaxed. And I said, whatever happens, happens. Let's just do it. And she nailed it. I mean, they nailed it. It was absolutely mind-blowing.
Okay. Now, speaking of the crew, sorry, Rachel, I just got to ask the obvious question. How did you keep everybody from like screaming or reacting? Right? Because I know if I'm a camera guy or if I'm standing there and I'm watching this go down, I'm going to lose it. Right? You guys, what was going on, behind the scenes there with the cameras, was everybody giddy? Were they controlling themselves? Were jaws on the floor? Because they're witnessing this.
Yeah, exactly. They were absolutely mind blown. Like they couldn't believe it. And in fact, like I said, after Rachel did it the very first time, it was incredible seeing the way she had done it. I'm going to let her describe it, but
Right.
It's almost like as she was focusing on the piece of paper, trying to make it move with her mind, it's as if she had to get to that moment where she was feeling totally connected and like if in a state of love. And this is when that thing started to spin. And I could tell the cameraman was like, holy shit.
Right.
Yeah, it was like, and they were looking at each other. I could see how they were looking at each other. And I kept like signaling to them, like, keep rolling. And so, and afterwards, of course, we did it under glass, 1 glass, then 2 glass, then she tried to move one and not the other. I mean, we made it harder and harder gradually. But at the end, they were so mind blown. I don't know if you recall, Rachel, but I remember a couple of them said, can I try it? Can we try it?
Of course.
That's the reaction, because they just witnessed her do it so easily.
Right. Oh, I'd want in on some of that action. There's no doubt about it.
You're going to be my guest, my dear, at my next class.
I can't wait. So, okay, Rachel, now let's get to the moment. Let me set this up for everybody. You can watch the film. But the experiment is very, very, very controlled. And it's a large glass, lab beaker or a vase or something. It's about maybe 12 inches in diameter, maybe 1.5 feet tall. It's big. And then, and that is put over a piece of, is it tinfoil or paper or something? But anyway.
Tinfoil, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sitting on a pin. So the glass is now dropped in front of you, Rachel, over this. There's no contact. There's no air. There's no heat or anything like that. But now you are at the moment where this is either going to pass or fail. You put your hands on the glass. What do you feel at that moment?
Well, first of all, it was really about, because I was asking, the expert, like, he was like, it's really about creating a relationship with this piece of tinfoil. And I was like, what? What do you want me to do? But obviously I am an actress, and this concept of creating relationships with things that you're not maybe used to creating relationships with, I'm very familiar with, and imagination and all of those kind of things. And so, I'm like naming, I think its name was Rebecca. I had really created this, as silly as it sounds, this relationship with this piece of tinfoil. And my first kind of instinct or question was does it help to, am I supposed to send it loving energy, or because at first I was just really trying to kind of understand and also let go, and like Caroline said, just trust and really not focus on doing a good job and letting go of the outcome. I think that's such a huge lesson in life, and obviously in both experiences, was completely letting go of the outcome and just fully being present and in the moment. And nothing was really happening when I was just trying to send it love or trying to make it move. But what was so incredible was I had this kind of instinct or intuition to stop trying to make it move or send it love. Because I've had a lot of mentors and teachers in my life that have taught me about the concept of, when we're trying to force something to make it happen, it really blocks us. And when we step back and we just allow, and we're in the state of being, that it's not really about what we're thinking about, but it's really who we are and what state of being we're in that really makes a big difference. And so I was like, okay, I need to just get myself, I had this thought to just get yourself in the state of love. And so rather than trying to send it love or make it move in some way, it was more about, I was just started remembering falling in love with my boyfriend and, holding newborn babies or playing with puppies, just experiences of really powerful, unconditional love moments. And out of nowhere, it just starts moving. And it was so interesting because, and this is again another powerful life lesson. As soon as I was like, we were filming, I remember it was just so incredible. And then I was like, oh, look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. And I don't know exactly how well this was shown in the film, but at one point when all that came up, when I was like, oh, look at me, it definitely stopped. There was like a slow down and a stop moment. But it was really when this experience was, I was just in the state of being, of connecting with this piece of tinfoil and being in this state of like kind of like an unconditional love type of experience. It was moving, and it was moving in such an incredible way that it was really, I watched the movie and I'm just like, I can't believe I did that.
Are you able to replicate that, your mindset where you went to, now that you know where to go? Are you able to, the telekinesis, but that moment of Zen that you're referring to?
Yeah, I am. I think, and again, I think what I love so much about being a part of this movie and these experiments, it's not just like, ooh, look what we can do. It's these really powerful life lessons of, people talk a lot about manifestation, a lot of attraction. And I think where we get it so wrong is that, the thought that, oh, it's like, I just have to think about what I want. I have to think about what I want. That's not really the case. It's like, it's actually who are you being? Like, are you being in alignment with what you want to accomplish? And as soon as we can be in that alignment, letting go of the outcome or the time period, it's really letting go, trusting, and being in alignment with that same energy of what it is that you want when really miraculous things happen.
What do you do, Rachel, when you hear after these experiences, right? And you hear, let's say, a physicist or a scientist or somebody, an atheist, whatever, right? But somebody says, you know what? There's no life after death. There's nothing out there. Consciousness is just chemistry. There's when you die, you just become dirt. What do you do? What's your reaction now when you hear these things?
Everybody's going to have their opinion, right? And I really believe that it's like one of my favorite quotes is, be careful what you believe, because what you believe becomes who you are. And if I allowed myself to believe a certain thing and really believe that, I really believe that's what my life experience would become. But if I allowed myself to question that belief and challenge that belief and try different things, then I also feel like my life would also move in that trajectory. And so there's so many, scientists that have spent their life work on studying so many different things. But I also, I was just at a workshop this whole past 4 days, and there was somebody who was literally a brilliant scientist and physicist, and he was disproving a lot of other science that has been out there for so many, different narratives we've been hearing for so long. And so I think there comes a point when we have to ask the question, have we just been told so many times that a thing is a certain way? And maybe there's just, it's not that it's like that that they tried to do something wrong or false. It's just like, maybe there was a different question that needed to be asked, a different perspective we needed to look through, because perception and perspective is kind of what creates our reality. So if we can change our perception and the filter the lens that we're looking through, I think there's some different things that might come up. And I think even a lot of people, it's scary to question things. It's scary to be wrong. It's scary to have a lot of, my dad's a neurosurgeon, and something that he had believed for his whole life, for 50 years of his life. He was 100% sure that he was absolutely like, that's exactly what was, and that was truth, and that was fact and reality. And then all of a sudden, after 50 years of living that way, he had something happen and completely changed his whole, like, he no longer believes what he believed before. And so I just think we have to be open, and I just choose, everyone's got to choose for themselves. I just choose to live in a world where there's possibility and it's open for questioning. And I'm totally willing to be completely wrong, because it's only in that open-mindedness and the willingness to be wrong that I'm able to see what I'm actually capable of.
Yeah, well, being wrong is answering a question. And that's fine, right? If you get that resolved, well, that's great. You can move on, I have no. I often say, if I'm ever proven wrong, it's a great day, because I don't have to waste my time anymore on trying to be
I love
right.
that.
So there's another part of this. I actually would like to stay on your dad for a minute, but in case he's listening, maybe we shouldn't. But you mentioned, and I think this is really cool because I live in Hollywood. And Caroline, I want you to jump in too, because there was a moment in the film, and I want you to explain a little bit more about what happened, where you said that you were able to change part of your own reality too as well. That there was a role that you wanted in this film, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna get this thing. Tell us more about that and what happened.
The story that I told, is that what you're asking? At the beginning of Telekinesis, I told a story of, and really why I'm so passionate about all of these principles and continuing to learn more about them so I can continue to master them, is because I saw a film when I was 14 years old that changed my life during a very traumatic time in my life. And this film just like lit me up, and it gave me passion and purpose. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to act. I want to dance. I want to inspire, just like this film did for me and the girls on the screen did in the story. And I just I had vision boards of it. I read everything I could find on manifestation and psychology and human behavior and law of attraction and just everything. And I would, from 14 years old, after seeing this movie, I was just putting those principles to practice. And 6 years later, and literally a roller coaster ride of so many crazy things that I thought were the worst things that ever happened, but ended up being the best things that ever happened, because it all led me to actually play the lead in the sequel to that film 6 years later. So I saw Center Stage when I was 14, and I said, that's what I want to do with my life. I played the lead in Center Stage 2 6 years later, and that was my first film. My first job as an actress was a lead in a Sony Pictures film, which was the sequel to the film that I said, that's what I want to do.
It's crazy, isn't it? The
It really
universe, yeah, it is. The universe is always listening. It's always listening, and if you do the right things, but you instill in yourself the confidence in yourself and a certain belief, the universe will lay that road out right in front of you, and the next thing you know, right? Yeah. And that is way beyond coincidence, isn't it? I mean, out of all the films.
It really is.
Yes.
It isn't, there's so many, every principle that I learned in this film that was showcased is an affirmant to that, right? Like you said, it's not just, I didn't just say, and here's my thing. I have a lot of, when people are like, oh, you need to have a certain goal and a deadline and you need to know exactly what you want. No, I'm sorry, but that's just not the case, because if I never said I want to play the lead in the sequel, I never even knew that was a thing. I just knew, like, I had a vision, I had a feeling, I had this like knowingness in my body. It wasn't just like, oh, I think I kind of want to do that. It was like, this is the path I want to go on. I didn't have a timeline for myself. I didn't have a specific day that I had to achieve it by. Otherwise, I was a failure. I also had to allow myself to go through things that I literally thought were the worst things, that were actually felt like in the moment they were taking me off the path. But what they were actually doing was putting me exactly where I needed to be, at the right place at the right time with the right skill set to do everything even more than I could have imagined. And so I think sometimes we block ourselves.
We do.
If we say, oh man, like I wanted, or we just, it's just this, some people are saying like, oh man, I want to attract more money in my life. And then the next day, if you get $1, well, congratulations, you just attracted more money in your life. It's like this clarity and alignment and trust, right? Because something could happen where you think like, oh, the universe sucks. It's not helping me out. It's not listening. Everything I've learned is just a lie. And then you stop trusting and you stop believing, and then you're nowhere near where you want. You're the exact opposite direction of where you wanted to go. But if you can just see everything as like, no matter what this looks like, I just trust and believe that it's like leading me in the direction that I'm supposed to go, and pretty soon your mind is blown at what is actually happening.
when we...
And Rachel, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Caroline.
I just want to say, everything you just said, Rachel, that whole story, it's also exactly what you just said about what you went through when you were trying to move the piece of paper, which that's the point of all this work and all this exercise of mind over matter. It's the same life principles of what you just said: trust, letting go, getting out of the way, letting go of the ego. And that's actually what happened when you were trying to force the paper to move, when you wanted it to do this, and as soon as you were in alignment with who you are, the energy that you want to be, then that is when it responded to you, which is how the physical world responds to you, to your intent, when you just ask for things when you're in the right state of consciousness. So this is what work is about, Jimmy. It's what's the point of bending a spoon? What's the point of moving a piece of paper? It's not about the spoon, it's not about the paper. It's about you and what you had to do to get it to move, to respond to your intent. That's what the work is about.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, because in the end, Rachel has the confirmation for inside of herself to know that everything is connected. The universe is alive. It's not just dirt and birds on planet Earth. Everything is connected. Everything in this film is connected. Everything is able to reach out and touch something else. And how and why this goes on, we're just now starting to understand. But we have the ability as humans to think about these things and to contemplate them and to get away from the dogma. That's the important thing that Rachel was just talking about. Like with her father or with others, you get the dogma out there in science for so long that going and challenging the dogma, that's hard work. Most people don't want to do it. Right? It's those that do, that question things, get to explore new realities. And I think that's where we're at. Rachel, is that where you are today?
100%. I think you said that so perfectly. It's like you can stay exactly where you are if you want to. If you just keep doing the same things you've been doing, like you're just going to, that's cool. If that's what you want. But if you want to explore new realities and new possibilities and new ways of living and being and experiencing the world, and then it's just it's stepping into the unknown. It's being willing to be wrong. It's being willing to be really brave and courageous and try new things, and for a lot of people, new and different we've been taught that new and different can be scary or bad. But I think that's the exact thing we need to question, because is it really? Because wouldn't living in a world where we were capable of, if someone got sick and we were able to actually help them get better, or if someone really had this beautiful dream to help the world be a better place, that they could actually do it, wouldn't that be a more, I don't know about everyone listening, but that's the kind of world I want for my kids to grow up in, a world where they can play and explore and be curious and feel safe and feel loved and feel like they're connected to something so much more than who themselves they are themselves.
Well said, Rachel. In the 30 seconds that we have left, when is Legend of the White Dragon going to be released? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. So we start filming in October, and I'm so excited. It'll be interesting. I'll be, filming in the whole experience of what the world is right now. But I'm so excited to start. And then, like you said, too, I have I have 3 new films coming out later this year and into the new year as well that I'm really stoked about.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us. Right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. And Rachel is currently starring in 3 films that are about to be released this year, and of course, Legend of the White Dragon. We're going to take a quick break. The new film is Superhuman. And Superhuman, the Invisible Made Visible. We've got all of the links up at jimmychurchradio.com. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Caroline after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend. Let's face it, you've always wanted to do a sky watch and see your first UFO. Today, it's easy. Just get your own HP7 3B Cobalt Jimmy Church Edition night vision goggles from Hoffman's Optics. This is the same U.S. military system that I use, featuring a Generation 3 blue phosphor image tube. That's right, it's blue, not black and green. This is the only blue system in the world, and it's waterproof, lightweight, combat-proven, simple to use, and ready to go. Hoffman's Optics helped create night vision sky watches, and now you can see what everyone has been talking about each night from your own backyard. Just call 760-231-9929. That's 760-231-9929. You can click on the banners on our site or visit UFONightVisionGoggles.com. That's UFONightVisionGoggles.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact. KGRARadio.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go back, Lee Tepe.
Telepath is a weekly digital newsletter filled with the latest paranormal news, trending topics, and fresh articles from some of the most popular critical thinkers in the community today. Stay informed on your favorite paranormal podcasts and live streaming talk shows. Interact with the Telepath and upload your paranormal story or pics. It could be featured in an upcoming edition. Sign up right now for the free Telepath newsletter at paranormal.radio. That's paranormal.radio.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. This is one of my favorite kinds of shows to do. Talk about this incredible film, Caroline Cory's Superhuman, The Invisible Made Visible. And you can go to Amazon. I believe, Caroline, really quick, is it on all digital distribution right now?
Yeah, pretty much. Amazon, iTunes. People can go to superhumanfilm.com and they'll see all the platforms listed there. Google Play, Vimeo. And we're going to be adding more platforms as well. So that's probably the best place to start.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody over at 1091 too as well, and Jim Martin for getting behind this film. This is okay. Now I want to backpedal. We've got one segment left, and I want to talk specifically about a couple of other fun moments in the film that happen later. I encourage everybody just to go check it out. It's just one of those films where you're just going to watch it and go, you know what? This was made for me. This film was made for me. I'm really enjoying this. So there you go. Now, back to Rachel for a moment. Okay. Now that she's not here, we can talk freely. Okay. All right. Let's do it. When you and Rachel are now together, and you now have her words, right? Her little script that she wrote down, and you're able to walk through this. You knew where you were, right? You knew what you did. She didn't know this. Now she's there, but you also didn't know what she had written down. What was going through your mind? Were you a little bit nervous that it was maybe more miss than hit?
Yeah, you're talking about the remote viewing
Yes.
experiment. Yeah. So I honestly, just because I had to also kind of let go, I was just trusting that whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And hopefully there was going to be more hit than miss. And because actually, we didn't mention this, but when she was going through the training in remote viewing, we actually did a little exercise and we basically flunked the exercise. I mean, like the guy was holding a picture of a forest and a remote, forest and mountains. And, we were trying to figure it out. And of course, we get like a lake and like people on the beach, it was totally different. And so because of that, I was a bit concerned that when we did do the experiment, which is called an outbounder experiment, that she was going to be nervous that she had missed the first exercise, that maybe, she would make a lot of mistakes this time again. So when she came to meet us where we were at the location, I was a bit nervous, I have to say, like at least get one or two right,
Right. Yeah, no question.
And I couldn't believe it. So we went down, we looked at the piece of paper she had where she wrote all the notes. And literally, Jimmy, it was crazy. It was one thing after another, exactly the way I had done it. She saw this Christmas tree, which is the first thing I had done. Then she saw those bars, which I was holding on to. Then she saw the carousel. But it's like literally as if she was with me the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was blown away.
Yeah, it was. And seriously, I keep going back to Starbucks, but that was a really cool moment in the film. It just really was. And you need something. Everybody wants. It's always about the evidence, right, Caroline? Everybody wants that bona fide. I want lottery numbers, right? They want the bona fide. Well, there were a couple of things that couldn't be more clear or to the point than the bars and the drawing that she did, and the Starbucks, and how and when she wrote it on the paper, and you're watching it in the film. Pretty incredible.
I think we should tell people about the Starbucks because we've been like teasing with the Starbucks.
But it's such a special moment. Okay, I'll leave it to you. You're the director. You're the filmmaker.
Well, I mean, it's just because it is so mind-blowing. So what happened was we were instructed by Paul, who was leading this experiment, to go directly from the set to the location where she was going to try to figure out where we were. And so he said, it's very important because Rachel is going to try to tune into your consciousness. So she's already at that location. Like he's made it very clear. But it was like late in the afternoon and we were getting tired. And as I was driving with the crew to that location, I said, "Hey, you guys, I really feel like a Starbucks. Can we just grab one? There's one on the way." And then they were saying, "But we can't. Paul told us we can't do that. We're supposed to go directly to the location." And so I said, "Okay, well, only if there's no line, we'll just go through the drive-through and we'll zip through it. Only if it's okay." So of course we drive by the Starbucks and there's nobody there. We go through the drive-through, we take the coffee, and we just like go directly to the location after that. And so technically that was not part of the experiment. And and actually I intended for nobody to see us. In other words, I kind of like put a bubble around me and I said, even if anybody's paying attention, is kind of tuning into my consciousness, because that was the exercise basically, they wouldn't see what we had done. And sure enough, at one point, Rachel is like trying to figure out where we were. And then she tells Paul, "I don't know, I'm getting like a hot drink like Starbucks or something." And Paul tells her, "Oh, that's probably your imagination. Don't worry about it. Just leave it to the side." And sure enough, when she came to our location, she shared her feeling of us, of a hot drink. And we cracked up laughing. It was like, oh my God, she picked it up. She wasn't supposed to.
No, she wrote Starbucks, and you see her write it in the film, right? It was like bothering her. So much so that she writes Starbucks down. And Rachel says something, not to beleaguer this, but it's actually very special the way it goes down. In that Rachel said she could have said McDonald's. Right?
Yeah,
she could have said anything or wrote anything down. And if she would have wrote Pete's down, maybe we make the connection and we have a funny laugh.
Yeah.
But it was Starbucks.
Yeah. That to me and to everybody, I hope it was proof that she was literally tapping into our consciousness. She knew exactly what we were doing the whole time. And even later, when I tried to block her as well, she also felt that I was trying to block her. This is when she stopped getting information.
Yeah, she goes, "I'm done." Yeah. It was kind of funny because how does she say it? She says something like, I've been turned off. I've got nothing anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's when something real is going on. You can't even make that up.
No,
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah,
so.
Yep. And the split screen and the way that it's done is very creative. I've never seen it like that before. It's very cool. Now, okay, let me ask you a couple of quick questions before we run out of time. There are numerous experiments that are done in this film on camera. Of course, with I keep calling them blindfolds. What do you call those?
Yeah, blindfolds.
Okay, blindfolds. There you go. There's that. And if we have time, we'll come back to it. But you bring on Ben Hansen with Corey Feldman. Spoiler alert there. That experiment was pretty complex, even for somebody like me to follow. Did you contact Ben about that, or did you know something about this in advance and you then reached out to Ben? Whose idea was that part of the film?
Yeah, I always bump into Ben at conferences and things like that. So we had been in communication. And I said, "Hey, by the way, is there something that you can demonstrate that shows," because he's been working with EVP, where recordings show up, on his shows, paranormal investigations and things like that. So we talked about doing this demonstration. It wasn't really an experiment. It was more a demonstration. And I said, "Well, let's do it in the film." So we talked about it. We went through it, how technically that would work. And I invited, like I said, I wanted a few different cast members, random folks, but some recognizable names, just a mixed bag, of guests. And for this part, I felt Cory would be fun to have. And so, so Cory ends up basically recording his voice on one of the tape recorders, and which ends up playing on another tape recorder that wasn't plugged in. So the idea with that demonstration is to basically show that basically the sound wave can be transferred from one point to another, apparently through through the air, but actually it's all electromagnetic, that you can transfer sound waves through the electromagnetic field. And so that was, the experiment. It was kind of fun to do. Did you enjoy that?
Oh, see, I'm an audio guy, and I firmly believe that, especially when it comes to EVPs, that when you are magnetic tape is one thing, physical with an analog world and a microphone, but when you go into the digital side of audio, it's a whole nother concept, right? Edison and the phonograph and needles and recording and that was an analog situation. But now when we're dealing with chips and recording digitally, that's something else altogether. That, I believe, the easiest way to manipulate any of that is at the EM level. And anything out there that wants to communicate with us would be able to, and they don't know, but the digital equipment out there picks up on this. And that's what we are hearing. I totally believe it. And that experiment spelled it out perfectly. And Ben, like I said, it's a technical, and the way that he lays it out and the way that he's doing it, it's something that you just wouldn't think up on your own. This is well thought out, and Ben explains it really well. It's Cory's reaction that was so priceless. Because if you're sitting there and you go through this, and it's kind of mind-numbing, you don't really understand really what's going on. But then you go and you listen and you hear and you watch and you see the results. Cory did everything he could to maintain, because that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, he was, especially when he started out saying, well, I'm a little skeptical. He had never heard of EVP, and here you go. He just basically transfers his voice from one tape recorder to another.
Yeah, it was amazing. Everybody just, when you watch the film, Rachel's parts are great. This thing with Cory, Cory's seen it all. Okay, he's seen it all. He has seen everything that life has to offer, and you really need to move the needle, so to speak, with somebody like Cory to get a reaction out of them like that. And that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Now, the other controlled experiment, I need your help here too, which is the one, again, the Faraday cage-ish telekinesis type of mind-moving experiment with the can. Who was doing the experiment?
Yeah, so Mike Willicke is a neuroscientist, and I started working with Mike, I think, a couple of years ago. And so he was doing a telekinesis experiment, basically moving a piece of paper under, it wasn't sealed glass, it was literally a Faraday cage.
Yes.
Completely isolated from any electromagnetic, any temperature. At one point, we were also measuring the temperature. And so that's what he was working on. And he's up in Oregon. So one time, somebody connected us, and he said, do you want to do an experiment with me remotely? And I said, wait a minute, you want me to move that piece of paper remotely? And it's in a Faraday cage? I don't know. Like, this is totally crazy. And so I tried it the first time, and it barely moved. It was like, I don't know, like 3 degrees or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought, okay, that's too difficult. It's just not going to work. And then I said, but wait a minute. I was thinking, wait, it shouldn't have moved at all. 3 degrees is 3 degrees. So I'm going to try again. So I tried again and again and again. And eventually I kind of figured out a way to connect with it, because what happens when you do something remotely? So what do? Do you look at the piece of paper on the computer? Do you close your eyes and you imagine yourself there? Do you, go out of body? Like, there's different ways that you can approach moving a physical object with your mind, or do you call your ET friends, your spirit guides to help you? Why not, And so that's what this work is about, is I had to figure out what state of consciousness I had to be in, what I needed to do to connect with that piece of paper to get it to respond. And once you do that, you try that a few times, you get it. You feel it clicks. There's kind of a signature that you recognize inside your consciousness, and you kind of go there. And so at one point, I was able to then connect with it. I was in Los Angeles, they were in Oregon, and the thing would spin like crazy. So,
And what is so remarkable about that part of the film is he takes extraordinary, I mean, way beyond what is needed, extraordinary lengths to make sure that this is completely controlled and isolated. Faraday cage, you're using that term loosely. He takes it to a whole nother level, right?
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that it can't move, right? He wants to make sure that's it. Pretty amazing. And then there's the part where I want to move on really quick, but he takes his time, doesn't he? Where he is concentrating. And how long was that? There's an edit in the film. Was he sitting there? Doesn't he mention how long?
Yeah, I think 20 minutes or something. I don't remember, because every time, as you know, we're editing a film, so we can't show. We just show
can't
the
show
elapsed
20 minutes,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I believe that's what the case. But also, we've done many other times, like so. Every time, people have to understand. People think that once you can move a physical object, that every day you're going to move it exactly in the same way. That's not how it works. So, for example, even if you figure out the technique that best works for you, one day you're going to be able to move it 5-10 degrees. The other day you're going to be able to move it 40 degrees. And then the next day, maybe a full circle. And then the fourth day, maybe nothing. And because what happens, we're talking about laws that govern consciousness. These aren't predictable physical laws like Newtonian laws. It has to do with how you're feeling that day, how much you can concentrate, the electromagnetic around you in your space, and so on and so forth. So because of this, every day the results are going to be slightly different. Is that not considered science? I don't know. I don't agree that you have to predict the exact same result every single time, because the fact that you can do it even once already breaks the laws of the universe, the physical laws, because technically you're not even supposed to do that. And so that's why what happens is, as long as you're able to produce any sort of influence or reaction or a result, that is already tremendous, and you just have to keep trying and keep at it this way.
Well, but what do we do, Caroline, if you are a success? This film blows up, everybody watches it, and the next thing you know, we hit a paradigm shift, and people are practicing remote viewing and opening up their minds and telekinesis, and suddenly the world gets very cluttered. Now you hear everybody speaking, right? You can't go into a room because of the noise level, or everybody suddenly now finds their empathic, right? Is it too much of a good thing if everybody can move objects, and we've got all of these vibrations flying around that we didn't have before? You know what I mean? Do we need to be careful what we're wishing for?
I mean, that's the story of my life, Jimmy. When I was a kid, I would hear the news and I would hear it the next day. And I was like, what? I don't really care about what happens to this person or that person, that I wasn't thinking about that. Like, stop, So, yeah, in the beginning, it's kind of odd and strange until you know how to manage it and master it. And then you use it for the greater good. I mean, I think that there is a bigger picture here that if you are doing it out of alignment, then whatever you do is going to be aligned with that greater good, with that higher purpose. So you're not going to be, sneaking up on people and getting into their heads and spying on them and using the abilities that way, because that's not what you are about.
I am. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, but I think your higher consciousness is going to stop you from doing things that are really self-destructive or, for evil purposes,
I kid. Maybe not. But that's for everybody to figure out. I wonder if he knows what I'm thinking right now. That's good. Clean up your thoughts. What's the next movie? What are you working on now?
Yeah, I have a few ideas actually. But I want to see how this one goes because we just released it. But I have a couple of very interesting ideas. I'm not sure it's clear yet if I'm going in this direction or that direction. So I'll let you know when that gets clear. But it's always along the same lines, about something about that seems to be paranormal, that seems to be supernatural, that seems to be crazy and out there, and just validating the facts, because way too many people have these experiences. Way too many people know that is their true nature. And so I feel like I'm here to bring that truth and to empower people to stop worrying about what others have to say and just trust and just try it out for themselves. I mean, that's what the purpose of this film is, and all my future films for sure. So right now we're teaching people how to do the blindfolds and spoon bending and everything that's in the film we're teaching. And again, it's for people to watch the film and walk away different, feeling like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to try. And if I can focus on the water to shift the acid alkaline balance, well, next time I have a stomach ache or I'm off in my body, I'm going to try to do the same thing to my body. And if you do that once and twice and 3 times, I promise things starts to shift. I mean, things start to actually materialize if you just give it a chance.
Thank you so much, and much success to this film. I encourage everybody to go and see it. And I heard you mention earlier, superhumanthefilm.com, right?
Yeah, superhumanfilm.com.
Oh, we've got those links up at Jimmy Church Radio. Okay, yeah, we have it right there.
And it's on rental right now, so I really encourage everybody to go out and see it for sure.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And let's speak soon and keep us posted on everything that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. That was so much fun.
Great show tonight. It was worth waiting the extra week, Caroline.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am going to take a quick break. And again, everybody, superhumanfilm.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can head straight there. This is a film that I am 100% behind. It's absolutely incredible. Superhuman. And again, don't confuse it with anything else. It's Superhuman, the visible made visible. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to come back and go straight to open lines. Thank you, Caroline. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us.
Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hello, my name is Billy Carson, and I am a best-selling author and the founder of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Together with my team, we have built an all-new conscious streaming TV platform designed with every family member in mind. If you have ever wanted to travel the world and attend lectures and workshops from your favorite speakers but weren't able to, look no further. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. There are dozens of workshops and lectures from speakers you know and love. We have also included amazing categories to assure that your consciousness is entertained and elevating on a daily basis. Amazing interviews, ancient history, ascension knowledge, wisdom teachings, documentaries, conspiracies, mysteries, health and fitness, conscious cooking, meditations, finance, yoga, and so much more. To start your free trial on any mobile device or computer, surf to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Again, visit ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Come join us for the StarWorks UFOs and Artificial Intelligence Conference, November 6th through the 8th at the Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. A full weekend of events with Grant Cameron, James Fox, Alan Stivelman, Sid Goldberg, Jaime Maussan, Lynn Katai, Paul Hynek, and another dozen great speakers and presenters. Special Fade to Black Sky Watches with Hoffman's Optics on Thursday and Friday nights, movie premieres, a cocktail party, a dinner gala. Get your discount ticket packages today at StarWorksUSA.com. I'll be there along with the entire Fade to Black crew. Start planning your weekend now for the StarWorks UFOs and Artificial Intelligence Conference, November 6th through the 8th at the Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. Just visit StarWorksUSA.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thank you, Caroline Cory, Rachel Brook. This is the thing. Rachel Brook Smith. This is the thing. The film goes to great lengths. What Caroline did with Rachel and everybody that is in the film went to great lengths to present this in a controlled environment, because these are extraordinary subjects to cover. The mindfold, blindfolds, telekinesis, moving things, remote viewing, EVPs. These things are incredible. And when you look at the film and see everything together, you start to realize what we've been talking about on the show for years, which is that everything is connected. I don't know how many times I can say that we get one domino to fall. They all fall. Everything is related. Everything is connected. It just is. That's the way that it is. This film does it so well. And you can go to superhumanfilm.com. The links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. And after you watch it, let me know. Let me know what you think. I've seen a lot of comments tonight in Twitter talking about the film. And so, yeah, I do want to hear from you. Absolutely. I've opened up the phone line, 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you are up. Man, I did it again. I literally did it again. It's so funny. You got to remember, I'm my own operator here. It's just the way that it is. Okay, let's try this again. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, it's Bodan from Toronto, Canada.
I knew you'd be calling in, Bodan. How are you, man?
I'm good. Haven't been logged into too much to the shows, but I saw the lineup this week, and I thought I gotta listen at least to Caroline's show this week. And what a great show tonight! Thanks for having her on.
Yeah, well, and thank you. I'm sure you didn't expect to be featured in the show tonight like you were. But let's let everybody know it was Bodan that came up to me at the conference and gave me my very own mindfold goggles, blindfolds, whatever you want to call them. And I forgot to bring them into the bunker tonight. But anyway.
I still, once I get my training for adults, I still owe you a free session. So you're on my list, Jimmy. I'm just still, I'm actually working with Caroline, and it's because of you that I connected with her. She's hiring me to train the kids for her organization there. So.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. Oh, yeah, okay.
So any kids out there or parents with kids, we've got another session starting in the fall. I took a couple months off for the summer, but I'm upwards about 75 kids now that I've trained.
Wow!
And I've yet not been able to what we call activate a kid. And when we say activate, the ability to see colors and to see things. When I say through the mask, it's not really through the mask, but it's using your intuitive abilities to see things. And the difference between intuition and what we call the intuition is intuition is maybe it's this, but once you develop the skill, and that's what we do with the blindfolds, it's knowing. So there's a little bit of a difference between like when the kids see the colors or they read books, you see it right there happening in front of you. So you know that they're doing it, and they know that they're doing it. Whereas an intuitive response is maybe it's this, maybe it's not. So it's pretty fascinating. I've been teaching it now for 2 years, and I still can't believe it. I still cannot believe what we as humanity, the possibilities that we still haven't uncovered. So again, I just wanted to say thanks for having Carolyn on. And
where can everybody go and sign up for your classes?
Go to Caroline Cory's website, and sorry, I don't have it. I think it's CarolineCory.com. She has a bunch of classes, and look for the blindfold for kids section.
Okay.
She has a for kids section there, and again, we're starting up again in the fall, and the last time the class that I did with her, it sold out pretty quick. So I think this one's probably going to sell out pretty quick too.
Yeah, and what about, before I let you go and get to the other calls, my concern is the obvious one. I'm just some old dude, right? I'm just some old guy. And I'm watching all of these young, talented children learn this. And, I see the adults doing it too, but the focus, everything that I see is always these groups of children. And is there hope for me at my age?
Absolutely. There's only three things you need. Number one, like anything in life, you have to practice. Number two is you have to believe in it. And what's number three? There's something else I can think of right now, but it's just want to do it. Just believe in it and practice, and you can't be forced on you. The one difference about adults over kids is it just takes a little bit longer because we have to break these preconditioned patterns of this is impossible. From letting it happen, from making you happen. But absolutely, I started seeing colors, and I'm 52 and a bit.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
So there is
for sure.
There is hope.
Absolutely, Jimmy.
Bodan, thank you so much, my man.
You bet.
I don't know when I'm going to see you again, but I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
I'm looking at that. What is it called? The Star Works. I might go to that.
Yeah, come on out.
Coming up.
Come on out.
Just as long as I can get on a plane, I'll go. But definitely we'll see you at the Conscious Life next year.
You got it. We'll see you there.
Okay.
Thank you, Bodan.
Take care, Jimmy.
You too.
Thanks for the call.
Go back, Lee Tappy.
Go back, Lee Tappy.
Bodan from Canada. And yeah, he it was one of the craziest things because when it comes to fate or not, you never know, right? You just never know. And he comes up and we're talking, it's great. He goes, by the way, I've got this. Woo! And he whipped, I was like, you're kidding. And then he said, no, I've been teaching this, man. And these are yours. And I look forward, and you just never know with the fate or nots. And no, I did not know he was working with Caroline to help with the instruction on this. This is so cool. This is what this family is all about. And yes, I have my own Mindfold goggles. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Doug.
Hey, Doug, how are you?
I'm good, brother. Hey, I got a quick bone to pick with you, Jimmy.
Sure, go ahead.
In the aspect of a collective consciousness, and hello, Caroline. Nice to speak with you.
She's not here. She's not here, Doug, but you can still pick your bones, though.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My question is, why has nobody ever done a collective consciousness in the aspect of trying to do something in the aspect of a dream test? How do I say this? Why does nobody do any tests in the aspect of you draw something that I'm thinking of before I go to sleep, and I draw something that you think of before you go to sleep? Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then
no,
I
it makes
apologize.
total sense, and I think it happens and is happening all the time. I think that is a very common experiment, and that is something that you just said it out loud, Doug. Why don't you do the very same thing? Right?
Well, because to answer your question, because you have a very broad audience, and I don't.
No, but you have do you have a wife?
I do not. No,
do you have a child?
I do not.
Do you have a dog? A dog can draw a picture for you. No?
Well, now I think you're taking the...
Yeah,
okay.
I am. I'm just messing around. See, that's why I was saying you could do it yourself, right? If you're just thinking of this, then why not try it?
I don't think I can do it. But the point is, I don't think I can do it myself. I think there needs to be other aspects. There needs to be other variables in play. There needs to be other people for this collective consciousness.
Right. There is you bring up something I've just been reminded of as you said that. We had Uri Geller on the show last month. Did you listen to that broadcast?
Absolutely.
Okay. There were a couple of things that Uri had done in front of the Mossad and I think a couple of other agencies.
And not to interrupt you, but that's why I brought this up.
Yes, because what you are suggesting there is doing the same thing with civilians, right? With rookies, and doing this together and exchanging the pictures for somebody else that the possibility of dreaming this in the future, drawing it out, and then the next day opening them up. Right? And was this what you dreamed? Yeah, it was. Was this what you dreamed? Yes, it was. There's got to be a way to set it up and control it.
There is, and what I'm saying to you is that there is if you get your people to come together and have a on Twitter, on whatever, YouTube, whatever, if you get people together and say, look, if people can come together on everybody's channel, whether that be Twitter or whatever, and come together and draw what the other person is thinking in the aspect of a picture, maybe we can find out how far this goes in the aspect of a collective consciousness.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And Doug, I want to thank you for the phone call and for the idea. And one of the reasons why this is so cool and probably easier and more fun to do is that we also have a direct, tangible connection. And that is, we are all connected by the internet. We're all connected by this show. We're connected by, you know what I mean, by Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, where it's not a direct connection, but it is this electromagnetic connection where this transference of mind is very, very real and possible. So I think it's a great idea, Doug. I'm going to look into this and think about it, and we'll figure out a way to get her done. Thank you so much, man.
Love you, brother. Go Black You Heavy.
Go Beckley Tepe. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. We got Giorgio Tsoukalos on the show tomorrow. How cool is that? Taking your phone calls, too, as well. So we'll see you tomorrow night, Doug. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, my name is Jimmy.
Your name is Jimmy?
I got the same name as you, man. I just had to fucking call in. It's like, just like you were saying on the show, we're all connected or whatever.
All right, there's no foul language on the show, Jim.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't know you could. I'll try to keep it down to a minimum. I apologize.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Hey, man. First of all, I wanted to, it's my first time listening in, really connecting with what you're saying. Just wanted to say that right now what's on my mind is all this stuff going on with the rights and things like that. And I'm a man, and I've had this problem where I got my daughter, right? I got limited visitations with my daughter right now, and I bought her a tape. All of the dogs go to the heavens. You know what I'm saying? You seen that one? All the dogs go to the heavens.
All dogs go to heaven. Yes.
Yeah. So I was trying to watch that tape, and I got my visitations taken away because I wasn't putting enough money for the what's it called, the child supports, and because I'm doing the drywall at the Five Guys, right? So I'm putting up the drywall at the Five Guys, and I got it to where when I'm doing the drywall there and everything like that. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going with this, man.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the phone call, though, Jimmy. And I'm not sure where that was going either. But, okay. All right. All dogs go to heaven. And there you go. Thank you for listening tonight, Jim. There you go. But you can't come on the show and drop a couple of F-bombs. There was something else that happened in the show tonight. As the conversation was continuing with Caroline and Rachel. Rachel was on with us for an hour. As we were going on, I was watching Twitter tonight. Oh, by the way, before I get back to Twitter, I'll get back to that. On Spreaker. Now, if you're watching me right now on the Bunker Cam, okay, this is the video feed that's going out. You can see the video feed. So this is what's going out to the various networks for video. That is this computer. That's all it does. It just sits there and does that. On this computer right here, this is the audio feed that is going out. All these other computers are doing other stuff, but this is video. This is audio. Now, on the Spreaker feed, now check this out. We've been doing this for 6 years. On the Spreaker feed, this is the console. You can't really see it. I'm not going to move the computer, but this is a digital console, and it's got the microphone and levels and sources and commercial drops and all of this technical stuff over here, the connection and how the digital interfaces are working and operating. I get all of that, and also metering the internet, right? Okay, and flow. So that's here. But right here on this side is the chat room. This is what happened tonight for the first time ever, and I don't know why. The chat room for Spreaker at the beginning of the night, most of the time I'll jump over and say, hey, good evening, because that's my only opportunity to do that. Because after that chat room runs for about 10 minutes, it stops. It stops loading. It normally just, in that first 10 minutes, it's automatic and it's running through. Just go with me on this. Tonight, for the first time, I've got the entire show here. I am in shock. I have all of the chats all the way up to 41. It just clicked to 42, right? Or 41 seconds. It's down to the seconds. I'm getting all of the updates, and I've never had that before. I was so shocked that I turned around and said, hey, what's going on? I couldn't believe that I could join in on the Spreaker chat in real time 2.5 hours into the show. Never happened before. Back to Twitter before I get off the air. Okay, so during the show tonight, normally Twitter is engaged, as it was with the conversation about our guest tonight. It was Caroline Cory and Superhuman, the Invisible Made Visible. And that's still ongoing. But the conversation was ongoing about my opening rant tonight and what is going on with the UFO community and TTSA. Well, I'll just say it. I don't care. And the 3 videos. And I'm watching this continue. And I don't think anybody was listening to the show anymore. They were more interested in what I said tonight, what I wrote yesterday in Telepath, and what I said Monday night or Tuesday night, Monday night on the show. That was Monday. Today's Wednesday. Telepath was yesterday. Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, and then today. And I responded today to say very clearly to everybody, look, you got to understand, because I get the emails and I'm reading and things. The reason why I responded back today about this, not to just continue to kick a dead horse, because that's not the intention, but to explain to everybody, hey, nobody believes more in the strangeness of our world than myself. There are people that are as equal, but nobody more. Nobody. Just because I've lost interest for my reasons in TTSA or the group around TTSA, because I've been following it now for 3 years and it's gone nowhere, that there's reasons for it, and I get it and I see through it. But I need to know what's been going on with the things that we have seen. I'm much more concerned about that. I'm not concerned about 3 videos that show nothing. We've got everything else that happened way before TTSA came along. We've got everything that has happened since. That's what we need to be worried about. And that's where we need to focus our attention. That's where I'm coming from. But watching you guys continue that all the way through the show tonight blew my mind. Mage, somebody just brought up Mage. I firmly believe that Jimmy has forgotten what I was trying to get across. No, I firmly believe I remember everything that you were trying to get across. We'll continue this. We'll talk about it in the future. That's Doug tweeting. By the way, I use TweetDeck before I get out of here. If you're wondering how it's possible that I can do the show and have Twitter or a chat room in front of me where I'm not clicking on update or having to scroll through, I use TweetDeck. And if you don't have TweetDeck, get it. It's free. You just go to Twitter, type Google TweetDeck, go and download it, get it installed. I've used 2 different versions of it, a standalone and one that runs in a browser. I think I'm using the browser version now. And once you do that, it's still Twitter. You can still tweet, all of that. Nothing, that part doesn't change. But now Twitter runs automatically. So I've got columns. And so in front of me, I have myself, I have F2B, I have hashtag F2BQ, and I have Rita. I have 4 columns that advance automatically when something happens in that tweet. It's really that simple. So I'm able to follow along during the show. And it's not like Twitter. Twitter is different. You've got to go and click on notifications and scroll through and see what's up and all of that and go to the homepage. No, here everything is automatic and happens in real time. Get yourself TweetDeck. The reason why I bring that up is because tonight my notifications were on fire. And it was everybody talking about the videos and TTSA and what is real and what isn't, and is it terrestrial, which it is. Is it terrestrial? Is it not? Is it ET tech that's been back engineered? I've watched everybody's conversation tonight, and I was following that. Yeah, we were multitasking, Jimmy. I especially liked your conversation with Bodan. So you were. That's TB. Oh, by the way, TB, I did see where Tirana got straightened out with what the male-female part. And I saw that happen tonight. It was pretty cool. And I hope everybody's listening and understanding what I'm saying. If not, go back to Tirana and TB's thread on Twitter and check that out. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Tomorrow night, we have Giorgio Tsoukalos here. We're going to have a nice, fun, great conversation that we always do. And then after that, we will be taking your phone calls. And it is Thursday night. It is Fader night, so it is going to be a great one. Giorgio Tsoukalos here tomorrow night. I want to remind everybody that Saturday, I'll be over at Coast to Coast AM, and I'll be hosting Saturday night. I'm not going to host Sunday. I'm only going to host Saturday. All right? And maybe I've got 2 guests. That means 2 sets of open lines on Saturday night. So come and hang out and then try to bust through you Fadernauts on the Coast to Coast phone system. And I'll hang out with all of you guys on Saturday night. With that, I am out of here. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Viteau, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Oh, Gene, get better, my man. I know you're listening. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2020 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Fader Night with Giorgio Tsoukalos. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. Go Backley Tappy.